Hi there. My name is Trent, and I have a beard. I've had one since I was probably, I think, 17 or 18, since I was like a senior in high school. And since I've been on the internet, I've always had comments of people asking me, uh, what do I do to take care of it?" So this is what I do to take care of my beard. Before I start, I just wanted to let it be known that I'm not sponsored by any of these products. These are just the ones that I use. Again, I am not sponsored by any of these things. First, I use the same shampoo that I use for my hair. I just use whatever generic, usually dry scalp shampoo there is. It's not really anything special. Um, but yeah, I think right now I'm using the Head and Shoulders one. And then occasionally I'll put some conditioner in it. Same with I'll put some conditioner in my hair. I don't do that all the time. So generic shampoo, generic conditioner, and then I use this beard oil that I got from an ex-girlfriend in college. Her parents gave it to me for as a stocking stuffer, and I still have it. It's been a couple of years, and it's still good. It smells really good, and yeah. And for the oil, usually I just do one drop, just one hearty drop of it. Because if you do too much, it'll get too your beard will be just too greasy, and it doesn't really feel good. Sometimes, depending on the length, usually I'll rub it all through the beard, and if my hands still feel greasy, I'll just rub it on my hair real quick. Um, but that's totally up to you. And I also use this comb that I got from a different ex-girlfriend. Um, yeah, I still have the comb. It's got this pretty lady on it, and yeah, I've had this comb for a couple of years. And then I have two different electric shavers. One I use for both the kind of cutting of the hair and then also the like kind of smoothing afterwards. Um, so like you use one attachment to get like the longer hairs, and usually you put a guard on it to protect the hair from getting too short, and then you use another attachment, and that kind of takes care of the really really short hairs and makes your skin smooth. And then I have another shaver which is just for the trimming, the more of the trimming aspect as opposed to the smoothing aspect. And yeah, one thing I like to do before I get started is I let my beard grow pretty long. So I didn't shave for the whole month of November. I did the whole no shave November thing. I usually do that most years. But yeah, I did this this past year, and I kind of let it go for a little bit before then. Late October, I had my beard growing. So this is probably like a month and a half or just about 2 months of growth. And what I do is I use the comb, and I puff the hair up as much as I can, and I go against the grain and push it back, and it gets kind of goofy looking. But I do this, and this kind of gets rid of all the little shorter hairs that don't grow as well, and it kind of gets those out. And if there's any hairs that fell, any like beard hairs that fell out, those just get loose, and they fall into the sink. Then after that, I'll use the comb, and I'll push it all back down to its kind of normal state. Um, Push it down on the sides and down, pretty much down all over. And then from the neck, usually you go out towards the chin. That's another one. And then I use one of the trimming attachments, and I usually kind of outline along the beard where I want the beard line to be. The best way I could describe this is if you go, at least for me personally, if I go out from the sides of my lips, if I go out like a little bit where the mustache is, and that's usually where I'd want the beard line on the cheek to start, and then you kind of make a nice curve up to the where it meets like the hair on your head or right by your ears, and I try to make it like a nice curve as opposed to being like a sharp angle or anything like that. But yeah, it also depends on the look you're going for. I personally, the kind of curved look works well for me and my facial structure, but it might be different for you. So you might want to go for a more angled one, usually like going kind of straight down by the ears and then almost like straight out from the mouth, if that makes sense. But it really totally depends on your face and what kind of look you're going for. But yeah, again, I use the trimming attachment to take care of that. And then I switch to the smoothing attachment, and I take care of all those tiny little short hairs that I didn't get, and that will make my cheeks nice and smooth. The cheeks on my face. And then for the neckline, what I do is you want a nice curve kind of where your the bottom of your chin, like the bottom of your head meets the top of your neck, if that makes sense. So as to avoid getting a kind of a neck beardy look, you kind of want to get a nice curve there, if that makes sense. um, so usually kind of going from like the back of the jaw and then finding that sort of shape. I don't really know how to describe this verbally, so this is what it looks like. I also, when I do my neck, usually I go against the grain. I usually go down. I think depending on what you're doing, usually most people go up. Also, yeah, I do use an electric razor. I've had people in the past be a little surprised when I say that, and they're like, "I thought you'd use like a standard like straight edge with like the foam and everything," and nope, I use a good old modern electric one. That's what I've always used, and yeah. And then because the whole beard was a little unmanaged because I didn't really touch it during November, what I usually do is I'll just sort of grab. I don't really have a solid technique for this. The easiest way to do this would be to attach like a guard to the trimming shaver. It totally depends on the length of beard that you want. I think the one that I have, it ranges from like 1 millimeter up to 17 millimeters or 13 millimeters. So you can do it that way, where you just sort of go over the whole beard at a certain length, or at like a couple different lengths if you want a certain look. What I do though, if I want my beard to be longer, like I do right now, is it's kind of a it's kind of a freeform method of just sort of grabbing a little clump of hair and then trimming, like lopping it off. And then I usually just do that on the sides, and I keep the bottom kind of bigger so it looks like I got a big jaw. And yeah, and then do the same kind of on the bottom too, on the underside of your jaw. Just sort of grab those so those are, so the neck isn't as prominent. I think at least for my face, what looks best is having the longer hairs just sort of around the lower part of the mouth, like below the mouth and like the sort of front of the jaw and sort of the sides of your mouth jaw area. And then you want the cheeks to be shorter and just all shorter along the sides. And then yeah, it should look pretty good. I'd say it might take a little experimenting if you're a first time beard owner. It might take a little experimenting to get it to look exactly how you want. Like I said, I've had a beard since I was like 17 or 18, so I'm kind of used to this. I'm 26 now, and yeah, I usually keep it shorter in the summer and usually a little longer in the fall and the winter months. But this is sort of how I maintain it in the fall and winter months. And as I said towards the beginning, I'm not sponsored by any of these products. It's just what I use for my hair. I use the same stuff on my beard. Those work well for me, but something different might work for you and the kind of hair you have. I know I'm not a huge fan of like beard balms. I've tried them before and they're okay, but it's just I don't know. There's something about the oil that like works well for me, and it feels good for me. So it's up to you. I'd recommend trying both just to see what you like better, but balm or oil. And yeah, I don't usually post videos like this, but I hope this was somewhat enjoyable. I know I always get random comments asking about my beard, and yeah. It's something I don't usually think about too much. It's just part of my daily life. So this was this was weird for me to make and talk about. But yeah, thanks for watching.